Good afternoon, welcome to Government House. My name's Mark Gower, I'm the Governor's Official Secretary and I'll be emceeing the ceremony. If you're able, would you please stand for the arrival of our official guests? Mr Tim Mander, MP, Deputy Leader of the Opposition and Shadow Treasurer, Member for Everton. Associate Professor John Harden, AM, Chairman, the Order of Australia Association, Queensland Division. Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me in welcoming our official guests. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated and we'll await the arrival of His Excellency. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Again, if you're able, would you please stand for the arrival of the Governor and Mrs. De Jersey. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Your Excellency, with your permission, I'll begin. His Excellency, the Governor will present the following honours and awards. Appointed an Officer of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Mr Lee Shwin Singh. For distinguished service to the performing arts, particularly to ballet, as a dancer with international and Australian companies, as Artistic Director of Queensland Ballet, as a former board member of Australian Ballet, as an author, and for service to the community through benevolent organisations. The Honourable Justice Deborah Ann Mullins. For distinguished service to the law and to the judiciary, to professional development and legal education, and to women, notably as a judge of the Supreme Court of Queensland and through involvement in Australian and international associations for women judges and lawyers, and through significant roles in the Anglican Church, including as Chancellor of the Anglican Diocese of Brisbane. Associate Professor Beverly Jane Robotham. For distinguished service to medicine through roles with professional associations, including the Australian Medical Association, to pathology through the Royal College of Pathologists of Australasia, to medical education through the University of Queensland, and service through leadership roles in a wide range of allied associations, committees and other bodies. Emeritus Professor Graham Turner. For distinguished service to higher education through pioneering work in the field of cultural studies and the humanities, notably through leadership roles at the University of Queensland, the Australian Academy of Humanities and the Australian Research Council, and for significant contributions through numerous committees, advisory groups and expert panels. Appointed a Member of the Order of Australia in the General Division, the Honourable Graham Rodney Bell. for significant service to family law and the judiciary as a judge of the Family Court of Australia, convener of the Family Law Subcommittee of the Bar Association of Queensland, inaugural chairman of the Abused Child Trust, and as a barrister and former legal branch member of the Royal Australian Air Force Reserves. Professor Victor James Callen, for significant service to higher education in the field of management through leadership positions within the University of Queensland Business School, membership of Australian Research Council evaluation committees, and positions on a range of Australian and international bodies. Mr. Paul John Clausen, for significant service to the law as a solicitor, commissioner and senior member of the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, and to the people and Parliament of Queensland as a Member of Parliament and Minister, and as a Director and Committee member of schools, industry bodies and in industry. Ms. Sandra Jan Creamer, for significant service to Indigenous women as an executive and board member of several community organisations and as a lecturer and legal officer, and to human rights through contributions to Amnesty International Australia, the Australian Human Rights Commission and a wide range of other organisations. Ms. Sarah Margaret Follant, for significant service to the visual arts and to the print and broadcast media as an editor and later executive editor of Eyeline Contemporary Art magazine, and as an art critic and reviewer for several publications and broadcasters, and as a former curator for Griffith Artworks at Griffith University. Ms. Majel Marie Hind, for significant service to Australia-Indonesian relations through diplomatic roles within the Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, particularly postings to the Australian Embassy in Indonesia, as Consul General in both Jakarta and Bali, as well as postings to Afghanistan, Zimbabwe, Israel, Laos, the United States of America and Malaysia. Ms. Catherine Ann Hirschfeld, for significant service to engineering as Chair of Powerlink Queensland, former Managing Director of BP Bullawa Island Refinery, Director of a wide range of companies and in roles at the University of Queensland, and to women, particularly as President of the UN Women Australia and founder of an engineering scholarship for women. Mr Bruce Douglas McIver, for significant service to politics through the Liberal and National Parties of Australia, and as an inaugural President of the Liberal National Party of Queensland, and to the road transport industry as co-founder, President and Non-Executive Director of the Australian Trucking Association, and through chairing a wide range of other organisations. Ms Janine Mary Walker, for significant service to education, especially through expertise in human resource management, and as a chair and council member for 2 Brisbane private schools, to community health and to the media through the Australian Broadcasting Commission. Mr Peter James White, for significant service to the finance sector through leadership positions at national and state level for the Finance Brokers Association of Australia, the Small Business Association of Australia and other organisations and companies, and to the community through co-founding the Sanity Space Foundation for parents of children with special needs. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Mr Kevin John Flanagan, for outstanding public service in the area of local government in Queensland, particularly as the civil engineer leading key water and sewerage infrastructure projects, including the Toowoomba Water Futures Recycling Project, repairs following flood damage, construction of a pipeline to ensure water security for Toowoomba, and water-wise education programs. Ms Fiona Joy Gardiner, for outstanding public service through the management of cultural heritage in Queensland, implementing reforms to the Queensland Heritage Act 1992, documenting, assessing and managing the state's built heritage, seeking new and innovative ways to raise the profile of that heritage, and overseeing a significant expansion of the Queensland Heritage Register. Ms Kirstine Eileen Harvey, for outstanding public service through the provision of human services in Queensland, driving significant reforms from leadership positions in education and training, child safety, communities and housing, and using innovative strategies to transform human services, improve the lives of individuals and families, and build socially just, safe and connected communities. Ms Rebecca Jane McGarrity, for outstanding public service to social policy development in Queensland, leading the social policy team within the Department of Premier and Cabinet in developing well-researched policies, particularly in areas of law and justice, and through her previous role as Senior Legal Officer in the Crime and Corruption Commission. Mr. Mark John Pitt. For outstanding public service to local government in Queensland, through roles as Chief Executive Officer of a range of Shire and Regional Councils, including his current position at South Burnett Regional Council, and through involvement in the wider community through service clubs, Girl Guides, state emergency services and school P&Cs. Dr. Loretta Maria Zampronio. For outstanding public service to the law, including as the first female Deputy Chief Solicitor of the ACT Government Solicitor's Office, specialising in procurement, contracting, commercial and property law matters, and to legal education as an adjunct professor, lecturer and author of numerous articles and presentations. Awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Mr. Ronald George Baker. For service to the community through leadership of a wide range of service and heritage organisations, including the Coorparoo and District Heritage Group, Coorparoo School of Arts, branches of the National Trust of Queensland, Rotary Clubs of Stones Corner, Kenmore and Rockhampton West, and the Royal Australian Institute of Architects. Mrs. Carmela Bozzi. For service to the Italian community of Brisbane as choir master of St. Alfeo and Three Saints Feast, as a vocalist, language teacher and prayer leader, and as a committee member, secretary and president of the Italian Catholic Federation of Aspley G-Bung, as well as writing and editing Rintocchi, the Federation's magazine. Dr. Christopher James Kaneen. For service to medicine as an occupational and environmental physician, particularly through his position as Managing Director of OxyPhys Consulting, roles in the Australasian Faculty of Occupational and Environmental Medicine within the Royal Australasian College of Physicians, and voluntary service for St John's Ambulance and the Australian Army Reserve. Dr. Robert Stevenson Nisbet. For service to the community through music as an organist, recitalist, music director, composer, arranger, tutor and writer, and through leadership roles in related societies, and to education through long-term commitment to mathematics education and research as an academic, editor, reviewer and conference presenter, and member of a range of other committees. Mr. Daniel Leonard O'Connor. For service to the law in a range of senior positions, including leadership roles in professional law organisations, and to the community through service to the Anglican Church Grammar School, the Royal National Agricultural and Industrial Association of Queensland, the Anglican Church, and the Salvation Army Red Shield Appealed. Pastor Margaret Ann Pashley. For service to the international community of the Philippines, as founder and executive director of the Leyte Samar Centre for Change Foundation, founder of the Community Evacuation Centre in Leyte, and as a Christian missionary in the Republic of the Philippines, and former assistant pastor in Gladstone's Port City Christian Church. Mrs. Kathleen Joy Peters. For service to the entertainment industry on the Gold Coast as a writer, producer, director and performer for Top Hat Productions, director for Gold Coast Little Theatre, founder of the Gold Palm Theatre Awards, theatre columnist, member of other theatre groups, and through contributions to the entertainment industry in Canberra. Mrs. Louise Jeanette Saunders. For service to wildlife conservation as founder, president and life member of Bat Conservation and Rescue Queensland, and to the visual arts as exhibiting artist, scientific illustrator and teacher, and as a member and leader in the Queensland Wildlife Artists Society, Botanical Artists Society of Queensland and other organisations. Mrs. Gail Patricia Shorthouse. For service to the international community of Papua New Guinea as a missionary teacher and volunteer for Catholic missions in PNG, and on her return to Australia as a volunteer at the Marion Valley Shrine of Our Lady Help of Christians in Canungra. Mr. Kevin James Shorthouse. for service to the international community of Papua New Guinea as a missionary teacher and pilot for Catholic missions in PNG, and on his return to Australia for volunteer work at the Marion Valley Shrine of Our Lady Help of Christians in Kanungra. Mr. Callen James Sutcliffe. For service to the community of Capalaba through leadership role positions, including as Chairman and Director of Community Housing and Community Service Organisations, and to education as a Principal, Inspector, Board Director and Governor in a range of Queensland schools. Your Excellency, that concludes this afternoon's awards. Could I now invite you to address the recipients and their guests?
Official guests, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, welcome to your Government House. I at once acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we gather this afternoon, the Turrbal and Yagara peoples, and express my respect for their elders past and present, with encouragement to their young emerging leaders. As you have just seen, Government House presents Australian honours and awards with considerable formality. That is as it should be. Formality and ceremony emphasise the very special nature of the day and the awards. They highlight the great prestige of the national awards being presented. But today is a celebration as well as a formal ceremony. That explains the happy faces in the room. Well, they were happy until you were told I was going to speak to you. They're happy again. That explains the happy faces in this room, the warm applause we have given each awardee, and the fact that we will adjourn in a short while to enjoy some Government House hospitality. That is very much a subsidiary thing. Formality and ceremony aside, we have also been witness today to a story being told, to a narrative being assembled. It is a story that appears at first to be all over the place. We've heard of contributions to the international Papua New Guinea and Philippine communities, the Italian community, and communities in Capalaba and East Brisbane. How do they fit in with service to the law and the judiciary, including in the Supreme Court of Queensland, the Family Court, industrial law, and legal education? We've also heard about services to education from mathematics to management, service to politics and the community in local government, and the Australian and Queensland parliaments also feature, as do contributions in the field of health, in pathology, community health, medical education, and as a physician. The diversity does not end there. The arts sector is involved too, with distinguished contributions in ballet and artistic direction, church music, in the visual arts and media, and in the entertainment industry on the Gold Coast. Then there are wonderful achievements in the support of Indigenous women, engineering, wildlife conservation, Australia-Indonesia relations, and the finance sector. Not to mention contributions through the public service to cultural heritage, human services, legal education, social policy, and local government. What kind of story could this be? Especially given that many of the main characters in the story, our awardees, have never met each other. The obvious common factor, the only obvious common factor, is the national awards presented to each of them today. But the story goes much deeper than that. Day in and day out, today's awardees have been exemplars of a range of values of the highest importance to the well-being of our communities. a tenacious commitment to excellence, the deepest care and compassion, outstanding professionalism, a dauntless commitment to the service of other people. And they have done so in a manner that is well beyond the everyday and the expected, which is why they're here today. Ultimately, our awardees really are part of the same narrative, and that narrative is inextricably linked with the word community. Their energy, actions and achievements have made our communities more robust, have helped bind individual communities together, and have strengthened crucial institutions. They have helped make our society fairer and more caring. This level of commitment and achievement is not accomplished without personal sacrifice. It requires hard work, dedication to principles and values, and endurance. Ask their families, friends and colleagues, whom I thank as the marvellous supporting cast in this great story. My wife Kay and I extend our heartfelt thanks to you, today's awardees, as the lead characters in that story of community, for all you have done for our state, our country and its people. We're very fortunate to have you among us. It's a great privilege for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're able, would you please stand? Thank you, Your Excellency. Could I invite you and Mr. Jersey to retire momentarily while we organise recipients for a photo? Thank you. Major Milligan, would you please escort our official guests out? Thank you.